Good evening, everyone. As we take a look at the home sweet home sign and we zoom out to beautiful Houma, Louisiana, side of this Week 11 matchup here in the Simulation Football League, a vital Week 11 matchup, I might add, as well. In the East Division between the Atlanta Swarm and the Louisiana Revolution. And we bring you in to Stack Up Stadium here in Louisiana for this playoff implication matchup. As I said, in the East Division, there's three teams, Brett, as I introduced you into the booth. Brett Killian alongside me for this game. And Brett, three teams are fighting for this East Division lead, and these two teams are right in the thick of things. Where do you see this one lining up?
Yeah, the question in this East Division isn't who wants it more, it's just who wants it. Because we have Florida, who's not in this matchup, at an even 500 record, and then you've got Atlanta and Louisiana, both having seasons probably to forget at this point, but both coming off big wins. Atlanta coming off a huge victory over Mexico City, the seemingly unstoppable offense of Mexico City, and winning comfortably against them, whereas Louisiana's coming off a good win against Las Vegas, so they're looking to turn the tides here and can carry this momentum. The big key here is whether BDG Hollywood or Randy Squarebush are going to continue the momentum that they had this week over their last week. Both over 100 yards rushing on very little carries, nearly 10 yards per average on both of these running backs.
As we get you set for kickoff, a reminder that today's aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Dags DroneWorks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. Ball is on the tee. Sammy Steele has it on the tee for Atlanta, and we are underway here in Louisiana. And on the return at the goal line, brought up by Louisiana to about the 23-yard line. We'll see Louisiana on offense first, led by their quarterback, Tommy Utah.
Yeah, and Tommy Utah had a very quiet game last week, only throwing for 182 yards, as it was the Randy Squarebush show, with his 26 carries and 243 yards, along with 4 touchdowns last week in their victory against Las Vegas.
Starting off this first drive with Randy Squarebush in the backfield, they do go to him on the first play. It pulls a defender over for a good 9 yards on the first play from scrimmage, and brings up a second and short.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to see from Randy Squarebush. He's going to have that speed, and he's that guy that's going to bowl anybody over that he can on that first attempt as he tries to get through for that first down, gets stopped just beforehand, but Louisiana's going to take the 9 yards.
Second and 1 from the 33, split back to the backfield this time. Utah back to throw, though, this time on second and 1. Takes a little bit too long to get this one off, however, and goes down for the sack. This time, number 99 for Atlanta. That is going to be Josh Williams, the defensive tackle, getting his first sack of the ball game.
Very unorthodox from the Louisiana offensive line. They've only allowed 10 sacks coming into this game, which is 4th in the league, but Atlanta gets a quick one here to stop Tommy Utah.
The early third down here on this first drive. They do get the completion out there, but they're going to say that Lyric Da Vinci was too far out of bounds on that completion, so that'll bring up 4th down, a quick 3 and out for Louisiana.
Yeah, and it's that conservative kind of play, just trying to get that first down against an Atlanta team that's coming off red hot against Mexico City. I don't think that's the approach you should really start off with, even though they kind of want to stretch this drive as far as possible. Get the first downs as quickly as possible. Now they're suffering from it on this 3 and out.
Walter Melanishin, on to punt this one away for Louisiana. And return from about the 30-yard line. A quick little juke move by Honus Adobe on the return and brings it out to the 38-yard line. And we'll get to see Bryant Dynasty, hair flip himself, coming out for this first drive on offense.
Yeah, and he's got the league lead in touchdown passes right now with 24, even though it was a little bit of himself a quiet affair last week with only 2 touchdowns and about roughly 250 yards passing. It was, again, all on BDG last week.
From the 38, gets a little pressure up in his face, and he's going to go down on his first drop back of the ball game. Huge loss of about 7 yards. As that was number 55, I do believe, Maybe read that one wrong. No, that's Brian Craven in on the sack.
Yeah, and very unorthodox that we've seen from both these defenses here, both in the bottom half in the league in terms of, getting those sacks, and both of them getting one sack to start off this quarter here.
Brian Craven, an early how do you do in the backfield to the quarterback, Bryant Dynasty, but he gets the quick out there to BDG Hollywood, the halfback on second down, gets those yards back. It's going to be a 3rd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of this last week against Mexico City, this Atlanta team going with the swing pass to BDG just to, get themselves moving forward. And it worked pretty well. 18 receptions for 65 yards, with one being 14-yarder as well. That's pretty good.
4 wide this time, 3 to the bottom of the screen. A quick out to the right-hand side. Looks like that was out to, that was Steve Falco on the completion, but not enough for the first down. That brings up 4th and 6.
Yeah, and both these offenses so far really just playing it conservative, kind of feeling each other out, trying to figure out what the defenses are going to play right now. And both defenses are coming in pretty aggressive. So I think both offenses, both Atlanta's and Louisiana's, they need to step up their intensity when it comes to calling these plays moving forward here.
So an early punt for Atlanta this time. Low Panda on to kick this one away. Low snap there for the punter, but he corrals it in with no pressure. Return from about the 20, spin move up to about the 24-yard line. And we'll get to see Tommy Utah and company start this next drive of the game. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan and fantasy. It's Tommy Utah gets a heavy set on first down and hands the ball off to his halfback, Randy Squarebush, on first down. Gets a good 6 yards before. Oh, sorry, that was the fullback this time. Cameron Collier for a good 6 yards, bring up 2nd and medium.
Yeah, and I think this time Louisiana really wants to spread out that running game a little bit more. Collier only had 3 carries, and he got 17 yards out of it on his last encounter, and where Squarebush got the heavy load. So I think if they even it out, they'll have a better affair.
Offset eye in the backfield, hands the ball off this time to Squarebush. This time he gets about 3 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd and 1 coming up. They didn't get the first down on their last 3rd down conversion, but this one's a much shorter one. We'll see if they convert this time.
Yeah, very manageable 3rd down situation here, and you could really go with any option. You could go with the short route pass, just get that first down, or you could head it off to Collier or Squarebush. I would think they would go to Squarebush on this.
If they do hand the ball off to Squarebush, but nothing doing on that play. The Diamond Blackwell, the outside linebacker, came in. Our big tackle for loss of 2 yards brings up 4th down.
Yeah, and the linebackers do a fantastic job, this Atlanta team, to get behind the line on a lot of these running backs, and I think that was their key coming into practices this week, was to get Squarebush behind the line, and now Diamond Blackwell has the 10th tackle for loss this season.
2 quick 3 and outs for Louisiana's offense, not what they're expecting here in this first quarter of the ball game, as the punt is away and returned by Honus Adobe up to about the 30-yard line, and we'll see Bryant Dynasty get their 2nd drive of this ball game going.
Now, it's really key on what Atlanta's going to do from this drive here, because Louisiana, again, went conservative. They went with, a lot of Randy Squarebush. Are they going to go with BDG, this Atlanta team?
We do have trips to the bottom of the screen, however, and Bryant Dynasty's going to throw, but he is pressured, and he's going to go down for a 2nd sack of the ball game. Brian Craven, once again, for his 2nd sack in as many drives, gets back there and making Bryant Dynasty's life really difficult in this first quarter.
And it was all on that defensive line that really kind of started off and really shrinking Bryant Dynasty's pocket as quickly as possible. And when Craven got free, it was a matter of time before he got to the sack.
Louisiana's defense come down and dime this time on 2nd and 15. Dynasty back to throw to the left, and that's going to get tipped away and incomplete. Even Arthur on the pass deflection, bringing up a 3rd and really long coming up here on this drive.
Yeah, and Arthur did a really good job, because he was kind of like that secondary back to kind of be that help side man to just just to kind of be in that general vicinity. He's really stepped up after a very quiet year last year with only 36 tackles and 1 pass deflection.
Dynasty throw off to the left again, looking for the
Wow.
same route that they had the last play on 2nd down. This time he finds Boot Chisholm on that left side. That's going to be a major 1st down on moving those chains.
Man, and yeah, going with Boo Chisholm against essentially what was even Arthur again and Mike Ryan right behind Chisholm, and it's just all about placement because Chisholm can get those throws. He is one of the top receivers in this league this year, and he's inching closer to getting his 7th 1,000-yard campaign. It'll be his first in a couple seasons here.
I do believe that's the first down of the game for either side as this one goes to Atlanta. And that is going to be a swing pass out to BDG Hollywood, and he gets a good 10 yards before he's corralled on that right-hand side by the sidelines for a 1st down.
And we saw this a lot against Mexico City, again, referring back to that Mexico City game, because that was really a statement victory for Atlanta to get them back in the playoff hunt. And we saw a lot of this, BDG just kind of bowling people over and getting those key 1st downs for Atlanta to continue the drive moving forward. And they're going to look to him a lot on that swing pass, I think, again this week.
1st and 10 from Louisiana's 42-yard line on plus side of the field on this 2nd drive of the ball game for Atlanta. It brings this one out to the 40-yard line as they find their fullback Mitchell O'Brien on that reception.
Yeah, and O'Brien doesn't get a lot of love from this Atlanta team. He's basically used as mainly a blocking option to help out Bryant Dynasty in certain situations and help block for BDG Hollywood. But he can be reliable. He can get you those long catches if you need to. He's averaging 7.5 per catch.
Dynasty back to throw, but pressured, and he's going to go down the 3rd time of the game, all the way back to the 45-yard line. And it's not Brian Craven this time. However, it's going to be Chance Wall with his 1st sack of the ball game.
Yeah, and usually both these teams are really good in terms of protecting the quarterback. We talked about Louisiana's good offensive line, but Atlanta has a top 10 offensive line as well, only allowing 13 sacks, and they've already allowed 3 just in this half quarter. So they need to shore things up if Dynasty is going to be able to throw this football down the field.
3rd and 14 from the 45 for Atlanta, and he's going to go down again. Going to go down again. 2 sacks in a row for this Louisiana defense, and that's going to put him way back. Chance Wall, 2nd in a row.
Man, that defensive line has been stepping up here. Brian Craven kind of, setting the momentum with the first 2 sacks, and then, Chance Wall, the interior lineman, is, comes with the response of 2 straight sacks of his own there, and Atlanta set right back after a decent drive to start things off.
Punt is away by Lopan, and returned up to about the 19-yard line by Rego Dinero, and that'll be where this 3rd drive for Louisiana will start.
And right now, both these defenses have really stepped up in their own way. Atlanta doing a great job with the run stuff and stopping Squarebush, whereas Louisiana, we've already seen it, 4 sacks in this 1st quarter already. So both defenses stepping up here.
1st and 10, hands the ball off to Squarebush. We haven't got a chance to introduce either side of these teams on their offense yet. Let's introduce you quickly to Louisiana's offense. Tommy Utah, the quarterback, Randy Squarebush, the halfback, Cameron Collier, the fullback, Lyric Da Vinci, Chase Earl, Salvatore Napoli, and Rego Dinero are the wide receivers. Levy Lease and John Michael Suddeth are the tight ends. Coming out in a heavy I formation on 2nd and 8. Hands the ball off again to Reggie Squarebush. Fights his way for a gain of about 5 yards off of that left-hand side, setting up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and they're going to need a lot of bigger runs here from Randy Squarebush, and he's going to have a tough time if this Atlanta team is really, really focused on the run stop at this point. Now it's another 3rd and short situation. Are they going to go with the run again, or are they going to trust on Utah's arm as they go trips bunch to the left side?
Yeah, they do go trips. I would say that might be a pass look here. We'll see. It will be a pass attempt for Utah on the left side. It goes up to get that catch on that left-hand side. Chase Earl skied up in the air to get that catch where only he could catch it, and comes down with a major third down conversion.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of a trips bunch formation, because the corners need to figure out where each receiver is going to go. And this time, Chase Earl, the middleman, the one ahead of that bunch formation, goes with a deep corner route, and it leaves himself wide open. Once he crossed that first down boundary, he was wide open. Great throw and catch.
See how high he got? Earl's got hops. My goodness. On first down, as he gets down, he gets his shoulder down, does Randy Squarebush, but only gets another 2 yards after that contact there for a total of 4. It brings up 2nd and 6.
And I know another running back loves to kind of use this phrase, but Jay Miraculous, welcome to the Shadow Realm. You're just getting absolutely shouldered by Randy Squarebush. He did a lot of this last week. That's how he got to nearly 250 yards rushing on his 26 attempts, so he's going to continue moving forward here.
Utah back to throw. Quick throw over the middle. And that was a quick release to get that one out of his hands. He was feeling some pressure right up the middle. Good thing he got that one away. He found number 11, Lyric Da Vinci, on the reception to come out of a 3rd and 2 on the next play.
Yeah, and big credit to both these defensive lines for both these squads here. They're really pressuring the quarterback as well as trying to get, the running backs a little bit stifled here. And you know what? Atlanta's doing a good job here. It's setting up another 3rd and short.
3rd and 2 from the 46-yard line. Hands the ball off to Squarebush. He couldn't find anything up the middle, so he decided to go out to the left. Thought he might have got there, but they're going to mark him a yard shy of the first down. It's going to bring up a 4th and 1 from the 48.
Yeah, and I think he played it a little bit too pretty, Squarebush did. He could have probably went up the gut and just barely got that first down, but instead it's going to be a 4th and 1. They're setting it up here. I'm not sure if they're going to actually snap it off here. It's still the first quarter, and it's really a chess match at this point.
We'll see if they snap it here. I'd be surprised, too, being the first quarter as well in a scoreless ball game. Looks like they will take a timeout here with under 10 seconds left on the play clock. Yeah, they were trying to draw Atlanta offsides, which is, you can't take it with you into the second half. I don't really hate that call here in the first quarter. It was worth a shot, but Atlanta stayed disciplined, and it brings up 4th down and punt attempt coming up.
Yeah, especially, late in the first quarter. This is, again, you've gone to about your 4th or 5th 3rd down situation in this game already, and Atlanta's been pretty firm defensively, so why not try to jump them off sides here and burn a timeout, especially late in that first quarter. If it was maybe late in the second quarter, I wouldn't mind the idea of maybe stopping that, but good decision on Louisiana's part.
As Melanishin is back to punt this one away, a deep punt all the way down to about the 10-yard line, and brought out to about the 16. And we haven't got a chance to introduce Atlanta's offense either. Let's do that real quick as well, as the offense comes out on this next drive and prepares to get ready here. Bryant Dynasty is Atlanta's quarterback, as we mentioned. BDG Hollywood, the halfback. Mitchell O'Brien, the fullback. Kyle Fendamore, Jonas Adobe, Thiege Falco, and Boo Chisholm, the wide receivers. Jamal Wooding is the tight end, and Jay Warren is the anchor on that left guard spot. Atlanta will get a free play here on the offsides, and that loss won't matter on the play out in the flat. It says they'll get a free 5 yards.
Yeah, and Louisiana played that perfectly, essentially, except for one thing. You can't jump. That's essentially it. You got to wait until that ball is snapped, and you maybe could have gotten that 3-yard loss at the end of the day. But Brian Craven, he's got those 2 sacks in this game, maybe a little bit too antsy. Ants in his pants for this one, maybe getting his legs going. We know about Coach Craven and how he wants to, be the shining example of defense, but you don't want to be a shining example of penalties either.
As that'll bring an end to the first quarter of play here in Stecca Stadium in Louisiana with the score 0-0 here in this one. We'll be back in just a moment. I think on that last play, Brian Craven was itching for his 3rd sack. He got a little bit of a head start, so a little bit more disciplined here on this next one, though, as they hand the ball off to BDG Hollywood. Nothing doing, though, on that play. Back to the line of scrimmage. Slint Shady with the tackle for maybe a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, and through this first quarter, we've only seen roughly 75 yards of total offense between these two teams. We usually see double that between high-powered offenses, especially ones like Atlanta and Louisiana, and what they're capable of. But right now, these defenses have been strong from the start.
Dynasty back to throw deep over the middle. That's going to be
Oh,
picked off. Picked off on the deep post pattern, and Mike Ryan comes away with an interception to sniff out that drive.
yeah, and you see the switching patterns there with Siege Falco going with a quick out route, and Boo Chisholm going with the deep post and maybe trying to challenge the safeties there, as they haven't had a lot of involvement in this game. But Mike Ryan, ever ready, just makes sure that he's in the right place, knowing that the ball was overthrown, and gets the pick.
So Louisiana's offense will get another crack at it here. First down, and that pass from Utah will go completed out to the 35-yard line. Larry Da Vinci will get a good 9.5, they'll say, set up a 2nd and inches.
Nice little deep out route to basically Louisiana's main option on this passing game. He is the guy looking to get himself his first 1,000-yard campaign of his career, as he's inching closer to 800. This definitely makes a closer marker to get to that point, but great out route.
The 2nd and inches, they come out in an offset I formation once again. Hands the ball off to Randy Squarebush, and he's going nowhere again. That's a 1.5 yard loss on that play, as number 58, Qantas Shine, comes in for a big tackle for loss, setting up a 3rd down.
Yeah, and we take away 2 runs. Essentially, that would be 15 yards. We're looking at six attempts for essentially 7 yards. Aside from that, Atlanta's done fantastic work.
Trying a handoff again on 3rd down, and they're going to have a big gain on that left-hand side all the way down to the 16-yard line to Randy Squarebush. Atlanta couldn't catch up with him until he got inside the red zone.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before Squarebush was going to get himself a big run. And what Louisiana does really well is that they have proper blockers. They had 2 fullbacks already ready to go to help out with Squarebush's run, and Collier, the second guy to kind of help out, really just gave that Squarebush that extra 5 to 6 yards to kind of run forward and move Louisiana in the red zone. And for the first time in this game, Louisiana's threatening.
16-yard line for Louisiana. 1st and 10. Utah back to throw. Left side completed at about the 10-yard line. Chase Earl with reception and bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, now this Louisiana offense is starting to cook a little bit here. They're starting to really get what they want here. Even though this was just a 6-yard gain, this is really what they want to dictate, is that time of possession, because as much as Atlanta's offense is potent, they rely on time as well. So if they can keep Atlanta's offense off the field, then they're in good shape.
2nd and 4. Out in the flats this time to Squarebush, and Atlanta's defense comes up big that time. Setting up a 3rd down coming up, as they only get 1 yard on the play. Diamond Blackwell on the tackle, and that's a good time to introduce you to Atlanta's defense, I think. Anthony Bonner, Billy Ray Valentine, Leo Jefferson, and Josh Williams are up front on that D-line. Bree Higgins, Diamond Blackwell, and Aquata Shine are the linebackers. Jack Napier, Don Fletcher, and Jay Miraculous are the corners. Moose Papanow, Grant Hardaway, and Chris Henry are the safeties. That catch is made right at the 2-yard line for Louisiana. Is going to bring up 1st and goal as Larry Da Vinci with the catch.
Yeah, almost a touchdown there, and Tommy Utah did a fantastic job, slinging that rock as quickly as possible, knowing that Da Vinci didn't have too much time of space on that crossing route, and he maybe threw it a little bit too far ahead, but nonetheless, Da Vinci catches it, and now they got 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 2. Hands the ball out. Randy Squarebush tries to get skinny.
Oh, wow.
Does so, and gets in the end zone. That's going to be a late hit, I believe, on number 93, Billy Ray Valentine. It's not going to matter. That'll be added on to the kickoff, I believe. But Randy Squarebush got skinny and got 6.
Yeah, and that's a great job from Squarebush, because I thought he was going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. This Atlanta defensive line has done a great job throughout this first quarter in basically limiting any possibility of Squarebush getting a deep run or any touchdown at this point. But this drive with the mix of run and pass has really helped Louisiana get Squarebush open. And fantastic job just, waiting his time a little bit, then to stretch outside to the right side and get his touchdown. Great work from Louisiana in this drive.
The first score of the game comes in about 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter, as that kick by Otis Boudreau is up and good. And that'll bring the score Louisiana 7, Atlanta nothing here in this one. The SFL Network is coming to the ESTV Plus app. 24/7 SFL programming will include content created by the community, the SFL's greatest games from the archives, exclusive network content, and live SFL regular season games. Download the ESTV Plus app on your Android or iPhone or on your TV through Roku, Amazon Fire, Vizio, and more. The SFL Network, where SFL creators come together. As this return is made up to the right-hand side, he's got a little bit of running room up to about the 31-yard line. A nice return made by Kyle Fenimore on that one.
Yeah, now it's Atlanta's time to respond after Louisiana did a great job, getting what they needed and finally getting a score out of their drive here after basically getting stifled by the Atlanta defense. Now, Dynasty and company behind in this game, we should maybe think that we're going to go Dynasty with his arm a little bit more.
Let's see what he does. He does go back to throw here on first down, and that is going to be completed for about an 8-yard gain. Boo Chisholm with the completion.
And Chisholm celebrating a birthday yesterday, so this is kind of a birthday gift to him, getting a little bit involved. His second reception of the game, already above 30 yards, so hopefully it continues moving forward. He's also got something in line for his milestone watch. If we see him again, we might be talking top 15 wide receiver.
Let me double check that. I think that was Mark Chisholm with the birthday on Friday, but nonetheless, that completion will go out to the 47-yard line. Drew Chisholm, once again, 2 completions in a row on this drive.
Yeah, and you're right there. When I look at names pretty quickly, I can mix the two up so easily. But yeah, Chisholm yet 2 touchdowns away from being a top 5 wide receiver in terms of touchdowns. So if he continues with this momentum and if Dynasty continues looking his way, we might be saying, Chisholm, surefire, one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Yes, he is. Absolutely one of the best here in the SFL. Is Brian Dynasty has got to throw, and as soon as we say that, he throws an interception. It might go all the way, though. But that gets tackled, though, however, as Rolliman Hood gets the gift of an interception and he runs down the sidelines.
Yeah, and Rolliman Hood, he's probably one of the best corners in this league ever to, a fight on a one-on-one passing battle, and he's got Siege Falco against him, and Rolliman Hood, he had a chance, and he could have, upped himself a little bit more by getting his 9th pick 6 of his career, but with good blocking, but stopped in enemy territory this time, sets up Louisiana to possibly strike quickly again.
From the 45-yard line, where Louisiana will try to add on to this lead. Utah about to throw off the left-hand side, wide open receiver down to the 33-yard line. Lyric Da Vinci with another completion by the sidelines.
Yeah, and really the big help from last week in terms of the passing game was Lyric Da Vinci. He had 78 yards on 7 receptions, and it looks like they're going to continue going his way as he gets another feed on this one here, his 3rd of the game, and he's going to be that option to get those first downs for Louisiana.
First and 10 from the 33, already well within Otis Boudreaux's range here for field goal, but they're thinking touchdown on first down. They get the ball out to Squarebush inside the 30-yard line and gets dragged down at the 29 by a couple of Atlanta defenders, setting up a 2nd and medium.
Yeah, and I think right now Louisiana's found that perfect equilibrium to move themselves forward. They're starting, getting those swing and screen passes a little bit more involved so that Squarebush can get more touches, not just, through handoffs, but through the pass as well. So Louisiana doing a great job. Definitely a great turnaround in the second quarter for them.
2nd and 6 from the 29. Gets the ball off to Squarebush once again. Wide open space to run. Pulls the defender over. Another couple of yards after that, as the number 44, Chris Henry, was the recipient of that shoulder check, as Squarebush makes his way down to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it's been a slow burn for Randy Squarebush and Squarebush fans across the SFL universe, but he's finally getting himself going here. He's already at 71 yards rushing at this point, so he's on pace for another triple-digit game coming up, and you better be careful, because if Squarebush gets going, he could get to 200 no problem.
Back to throw is Utah. Have plenty of time to throw. Find its receiver down to the 2-yard line. Another 1st and goal coming up for Louisiana. Chase Earl is feeling it as he gets inside the 5.
You know, what's interesting out of this second quarter is that Utah is really only relying on two receivers at this point, Chase Earl and Lyric Da Vinci, and both of them have come up pretty big here, both getting key receptions and now inside the 5-yard line again. Basically, the same scenario. We might see another Randy Squarebush run to the outside to get himself a second touchdown. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He got skinny last time they were down at 2-yard line. Let's see if they give the ball to him once again. They're at the same spot. They go for a throw this time. Easy pitch and catch. This time they find John Michael Suddeth over the middle, wide open for the touchdown. 6 more points.
And all of a sudden, we're looking at a different receiver getting the football for the touchdown. They're going to go with John Michael to get himself just open enough, just a quick slant route. That's all that's really needed. You think that Louisiana was going to pile up on max protection mode for Randy Squarebush, but they say, you know what? Let's go with a quick pass this time. And it basically drives Atlanta away from Squarebush. And there it is, wide open. Another score for Louisiana.
John Michael Suddeth paying dividends in his offseason move from Baltimore to Louisiana, showing on the scoreboard as this extra point by Otis Boudreaux is up and good. And that makes the score Louisiana 14, Atlanta yet to score, but they're going to be looking for some points on this next drive for sure.
And they're going to need to wake up if they want to continue with this. I know that Dynasty's thrown 2 picks at this point, but he's got to shake them off because you're down 2 scores. You got to get your receivers going.
The kick is away by Otis Boudreaux, and the return will be made from about the 2 by Kyle Fenimore. And about the 24-yard line is where Bryant Dynasty will be starting this next drive. And Dynasty, so far today, just haven't had a good day, to say the least. He has thrown 70% completions, but he's 7 of 10, but 3 of those incompletions, 2 picks. And he's going to be trying to forget those 2 interceptions for sure. As this first play from scrimmage on the drive is handed off to BDG Hollywood. Nice spin move made on that right-hand side, goes for 6 yards.
Yeah, we talking about Dynasty's woes to start this first half. We're talking about BDG as well, as he hasn't gotten a lot involved in this run game. It's been fairly pass heavy at this point. Finally getting to, the black in terms of yardages here on the ground, but right now Atlanta's offense is a little bit stifled.
2nd and 4 from the 30. Bryant Dynasty back to throw. BDG with the reception out in the flats, and a 3rd and 1 coming up after a 3-yard gain. Another nice tackle made there in the open field. This time, I believe that was even Arthur again with the nice tackle in the open.
Another big 3rd down, this time going to Atlanta's side. This will be their 4th opportunity on 3rd down. They've only converted once here, and it looks like they're primed and ready to give BDG a chance.
Yeah, they do, and he's got wide open spaces to run on that right-hand side, all the way down to the 48. Let's call it, the 48-yard line. Big gain for the 1st down.
Yeah, and Atlanta's hoping that this will be the catalyst for BDG to get himself going, because we saw Squarebush with a nice 15, 20-yard run earlier in this quarter, and now BDG finally gets himself open for a nice 12, 13 yards, stopped by Liam Ryan just before he could get going a little bit further. But now in enemy territory, Atlanta finally seeing some momentum go offensively for them.
Mitchell O'Brien with a nice block on that right-hand side held his defender long enough for BDG to spring that one so he get past the 1st down. As this pass is made out to the flats, but this time BDG goes nowhere. Maybe lost a half yard on that play, as they'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and they're going heavy on BDG again and really relying on him to, move this football forward, because, they want to, keep Dynasty's accuracies in check here, and why not just rely on BDG both on the ground and on the air?
As the handoff is made to BDG again, but 3-yard loss this time, and this time it is the outside linebacker Nathan Blake with the tackle for loss.
And Louisiana now forcing Atlanta's hand to basically force Dynasty to throw this football deep. They're going to go 3 receivers to the bottom of our screen here. Really focus on Siege Falco on the bottom there.
Empty backfield for Bryant Dynasty. Plenty of time to throw deep over the middle. That's going to get picked off again. Mike Ryan with the return up to the right-hand side, almost to midfield. Mike Ryan with his second pick of the ball game.
Yeah, and it seems like any 15-yard plus pass in the air is really covered by Louisiana, because all 3 interceptions right now from Louisiana have been deep pocket picks. 1 from Hood and now 2 from Liam Ryan, doing a great job recognizing the play, seeing where that ball is going to be thrown, and just being at the right place to grab those interceptions. And Louisiana is going to reap those benefits as much as they can. Now, almost at midfield again in this situation, could strike one more time.
This is Mike Ryan on Louisiana with the picks for the 2 for Louisiana. However, the offense will come back out for Louisiana, as this one will go to Randy Squarebush and gets about 6 yards on the play to get this drive going for the offense.
Jesus, did I say Liam Ryan? Oh wow, I'm really mixing up my names today. I'm already off. Here we go. 2-minute warning.
It is a 2-minute warning here from Stack Up. We were watching the SFL live, presented by APM Music. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. As a 2nd and 4 is upcoming here for Louisiana. Already up 14-0, looking for more before the halftime break. Hands the ball off to Squarebush, and thought he was going to go down for a loss. He does end up going down for a loss. Could have been a bigger one, but it will be a 2-yard loss as Pre-Higgins comes in for the TFL.
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta needs to really change things defensively, even though they've allowed 2 straight scores on their drive. They know that Squarebush is going to get a lot of looks no matter what the situation. So keep keying in on him, and that's where they've got this 3rd down situation in now.
3rd and 6 from the 47-yard line of Atlanta. Utah back throw, plenty of time. Throws to the left-hand side, and that's going to be completed. What a completion down to the 22-yard line. I thought that had a chance to get picked off by one of the defenders for Atlanta, but Rego De Niro comes away with a completion on that one.
Yeah, and I thought that was at least going to be a pass deflection, but Tommy Utah did just enough to air that ball a little bit high arcing, but it still worked, and De Niro did a good job to get himself open.
Hands the ball off to Squarebush, and that's going to get a 5-yard run up the middle, and they're going to go hurry up here with under a minute to go. 2nd and 5 from the 17, inside the red zone now. Utah back to throw, out route over the right-hand side. Finds Salvatore Napoli. They're going to stay hurry up inside the 10 down to the 9.
They're seeing something on the defense here.
They do have something on the defense as they go inside the 5 down to the 4.5.
Yeah, those out routes are really helping because they're being wide open right now.
Utah back to throw. Another out route. He was Anthony Bonner with a sack. I thought he had an open on the out route, but he couldn't get it off in time as Bonner comes in with his first sack of the ball game.
Yeah, you'll see there the first change on the Atlanta defense on the hurry up is that the defensive tackles and the defensive ends basically did an X-cross to basically make the offensive line guess, and that left Bonner wide open to get to Tommy Utah quickly as possible.
3rd and goal coming up for Atlanta. Trying to look for 6 instead of settling for 3 before the halftime break. From the 8-yard line. Utah, play action, left side, throw. And he's going to catch it in that left corner of the end zone. Chase Earl, 6 more points.
Man, and Louisiana's offense has definitely woken up in this 2nd quarter, and it's resulted in 3 touchdowns now. Great work. Again, really changing things up here, going with the hurry up once they got to the 2-minute drill. Very smart decision because they saw something defensively that really took to their advantage and moved themselves to a goal line situation. And then getting to this goal line scenario, going with the out route to Chase Earl. That out route's been working for them all quarter. And again, gets them to score. And now 20 points up is the Revs.
Louisiana coming into this game at 3-5, a game back from 4-4 Florida, finds themselves with a 21-0 lead approaching the halftime break, and we know how close this East Division is. Florida has to go into Arizona later on tonight. We know what kind of matchup that's going to be later on, and what environment that's going to be in Arizona. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well, as this kick is away for Louisiana, and Atlanta gets the return up. Flags on the field, but this return is made up to the 23 with pinning this penalty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Eclipse, so it's going to be Atlanta kind of be moving back a little bit here. So they're going to not really start. No, it's going to be a hold instead, but I think it's still towards the Swarm, so they're going to be set back after that special teams play, and Atlanta's going to start off a little bit further behind the 8-ball now.
This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination, however, because we've seen crazier things happen this season in the SFL. All over this league. You know, you think about teams like Indianapolis, what they did earlier in the season, and others. I'm not sure I'm missing some. Minnesota even had a comeback win, I believe.
Man,
that gets another sack. Louisiana gets another sack on Bryant Dynasty. I think that's going to close out the half. Chance Wall was his third.
Man, what a way to end the half on getting the 5th sack against Dynasty.
And that'll bring it into the first half of play. Louisiana up 21-0 here in this one. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music. And as we get set here for the start of the third quarter, Brett, what are your thoughts here on this one as we get set here?
Just a complete 180 from Louisiana. Only 46 yards of total offense in the first quarter. Second quarter, they tripled that number. 173 total yards, which included 124 passing yards. Just fantastic work to turn things around for the Revolution.
This return is brought up to the 24-yard line, and this is where Atlanta will get their first drive going of the third quarter, of the second half here. What kind of adjustments do you think Atlanta is going to have to make here to get this drive going for some points, the first points of the ballgame?
You know, it's tough to say right now. They have to start going with the pass here, but I think they need to go with, some short 10-yard routes and make sure that those guys are open.
Deep over the middle, Bryant Dynasty, that was tipped away. Dangerous pass, Rolman Hood, and with the pass deflection.
Yeah, and like I said, if they go a little bit shorter, I bet they would find themselves an open pass, but they're going to keep going with, the deep options, see if they can strike quickly. They've got 2 fantastic receivers that are capable of getting those, 75-yard touchdowns for you. Both Chisholm and Falco can do that for you, but you need to be weary because Dynasty's throwing 3 interceptions in the first half.
2nd and 10 now for Dynasty and company. The handoff is made to BDG Hollywood. Loss of a yard on the play. Looks like Louisiana was ready for that one as Nathan Blake comes in with a TFL.
Yeah, Louisiana continuing their momentum through the first half when they've limited Atlanta to 81 yards of total offense in the first half. Just doing a great job in stifling them.
Back to throw is Dynasty. Looked like he got pressure in his face, but it gets it away. Throws a dart to Siege Falco, and a caca gets heard from the crowd as he gets that one caught for the first down.
Yeah, and I think there was just miscommunication on Louisiana's part, because you can see Tate Bennett kind of trying to rush forward and try to cover Falco as quickly as possible, but when you're left that wide open, Dynasty's going to have no choice other than to throw to him. So great work from Atlanta to take advantage of a situation and get that first down.
Nice play to convert that third down. Third down that they desperately needed on this first drive of the third quarter. The pass gets made out to Kyle Fenimore, and another first down completion made out to the 46-yard line, and they're cooking now on this first drive of the third quarter.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do here is, go with the shorter route, see if you can get yourself, yards after the catch in those scenarios, because Louisiana's been playing deep on a lot of these, and it's resulted in, those deep interceptions. So maybe go shorter and get yourself some more yards.
Bryant Dynasty, the throw over the middle, dangerous throw once again, looking for Siege Falco. This time, though, batted away. Tank Bennett with the pass deflection.
Yeah, you had both safeties in the vicinity of that football, both Bennett and Ryan, and I think even Arthur was in that vicinity too. So very, very, very dangerous throw. But I think that post route down the middle, pretty much short up from Louisiana. So maybe going corner, trusting on the sidelines might help out for Atlanta.
4 wide this time with Bryant Dynasty under center. And Louisiana comes out in a dime on 2nd and 10. Back to throw. Dynasty over the middle. Nice completion made down to the 31-yard line. Siege Falco has a couple of nice receptions on this drive, really helping out this offense.
Yeah, and I think Atlanta's found the hole in the Louisiana defense right now, and it is that medium to deep pass, the line between the linebackers and the safeties. They are opening up that pocket a little bit more so they can cover the 15, 20-yard air throws, and it's leaving those 10-yarders a little bit more open, and it's resulting in another first down, and they're starting to get closer and closer to the red zone here.
At the 31-yard line now is Atlanta, moving the ball nicely on this first drive. Dynasty to throw, and that's going to end the drive as that is Robin Hood once again. I'm sorry, that was even Arthur this time, excuse me, on the interception to sniff out that drive and give the ball back to Louisiana.
You know what? An analyst will be totally wrong sometimes, and that was exactly me. I thought the corners to the sidelines might help, and you had Boo Chisholm in that area, but even Arthur, fantastic work to stay on Chisholm as tight as possible, and seeing that the ball was up in the air, grabs the interception, and again, halts any momentum for Atlanta, and Louisiana's just, cruising here. And they could end themselves up with 4-score lead if they can get this drive going.
We'll see what they do here on the first play of their first drive of the second half. Hands the ball off to, we've seen him do that all game long. Randy Squarebush just being punishing on the run game as he gets another 8 yards right up the middle.
Yeah, and I think Squarebush might have the quietest 100-yard game, this season, considering Louisiana's defense has stepped up immensely throughout this game, and has led to this 21-0 score right now. But great work from Squarebush as always.
As this catch is made, John Michael Sudduth, he had the touchdown catch in the first half. This completion is made for a first down out to the 45-yard line. A nice completion made there.
Yeah, fantastic change of direction as well from Sudduth. As you can see, he goes with the out route, sees himself just next to the sidelines, almost, stops himself so that he can move forward down the sidelines instead of hitting himself out of bounds, because he saw the space and he got himself an extra 5 yards because of it. Great work from Sudduth.
There's a first down coming up here for Louisiana from the 45-yard line. 3 wide to the bottom of the screen. One to the top. Goes to the top of that formation. That completion is going to get made by Chase Earl up by the sidelines. 9 yards on the play.
Man, another great play called by Louisiana. Seeing that Atlanta was hoping they wouldn't go deep, they go with a little bit more of a shorter route, and this time it leaves Chase Earl wide open on a deep out, and it gets themselves another 9 yards, and they're almost in Boudreaux territory here.
Just about, I would say, right on the tip of it here with about 2nd and 1 coming up, and couldn't quite get there was Cameron Collier. Cameron Collier with that run. Aquinas Shine brings him down inches short of the first down marker.
Yeah, and Aquinas Shine has been very quietly, racking up the tackles in this game. That's going to be his 6th total tackle, already leading the team. And that's a big one to set up 3rd and inches.
One more of those and bring up 4th down, but that's not going to happen as that gets handed off to Randy Squarebush. Randy Squarebush does what he needs to do to get the first down to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, and that's all that Louisiana wanted, is just to get another first down and take that clock even further to zeros in this 3rd quarter, because they have carried all the momentum moving forward, and they've done a great job on this drive.
First and 10 from the 33. Utah back to throw. Got pressured, and that's going to get picked off. Ball given right back to Atlanta as the defense for Atlanta comes up big. Moose Papineau comes up with the interception.
And that might be the shining light to get Atlanta back in this game. Seeing that the post route has been ineffective for Atlanta, I'm a little bit surprised Louisiana went that same route, knowing that Tommy Utah hasn't had a super effective game, but efficient enough. it leads to an interception, and Moose Papano could possibly, get the light at the end of the tunnel here for Atlanta to get themselves back in this.
You got to think that that interception was possibly caused by the D line because that defensive lineman was like right at the feet of Tommy Utah when he let that one go, and he was
Hmm.
off balance when he threw it. So
Hmm.
definitely not all on the receiver on that one. As that handoff gets made to BDG Hollywood and gets about 5 yards on the play to bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and I think they need to rely more on BDG moving forward here because Dynasty's thrown 4 picks at this point. He's been pretty much shaken throughout the last quarter and a half here. Maybe going BDG's way will help it.
And that's not going to help anything as that handoff gets made for a loss of 2 yards. Try to go the fullback's way this time, but tackle for loss by Tank Bennett.
Yeah, and what Louisiana needs to do at this point, knowing that Atlanta will want to shake up that offense like Louisiana's offense has done, is stop any momentum for any of the ball carriers, any of the receivers. And now they're going to go pass here. Get ready for a deep throw here.
3 wide to the bottom of the screen, 1 to the top for Bryant Dynasty. Goes short this time.
Oh,
nice
nice
spin move made by BDG Hollywood, and that spin move is what sprung him free to get that first down out to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, and it looked like he was dead to rights and he wasn't going to get that first down. But, one perfectly placed spin move is going to get yourself a little bit more separation to get that first down. And that's what Atlanta needs to do. Get the first downs and move down the field.
And Hollywood has absolutely patented that spin move over the course of his career. And it's shown over the course of his career for sure as he gets a completion out in the flats for a gain of about 4 yards on that play.
And how much of his near 15,000 yards on the ground do you think was added on because of a simple spin move? And BDG's the best to do it. There's nobody better than BDG. He holds the top of the leaderboard in basically almost every category, and he continues to make highlight plays week after week.
If there was a stat for spin moves total in one career, I think he would have the lead by a long shot, just by watching him over the last 5 seasons. But that play is going nowhere. Chance Wall comes in with the tackle for loss, bring up a 3rd and 9.
Another third down situation for Atlanta. They have been successful over this quarter here. They're 2 for 2 so far. This is their 3rd opportunity to get a first down.
Bryant Dynasty to throw. Plenty of time to get that one off, and that's going to get picked off. Bryant Dynasty throws another interception, this time even Arthur, and gets another interception and brings it out to the Atlanta 26-yard line.
Nate, how often have you seen both the deep middle and the deep corners covered so well? We usually see one of them be open at some point, whether it be the deep post, which is usually good for the tight ends, or the wide receivers getting that post to run down the sidelines. We never usually see both be covered as well as Louisiana has done it, and it has resulted in these 5 interceptions. Fantastic work from the Louisiana secondary.
Bryant Dynasty having an absolute difficult time fighting his receivers in this one for any type of sustainable gains on plays. As this punishing run goes to the square bush and goes all the way to 1 yard line as Chris Henry comes in and makes a touchdown saving tackle, but Square Bush makes another punishing run to the left-hand side and just 1 yard, 3 feet away from crossing that goal line.
Man, and I think that was a Qantas shine that met the shoulders and head of Randy Squarebush. And how insulting from an Atlanta standpoint would that be after throwing an interception that Randy Squarebush would just trot down the field for a touchdown?
But this one's going to go in by Squarebush. 2nd run and as many attempts, he finishes off what he started the play before and goes in for 6 more points. His 2nd score of the game, and that is going to be up 4 scores now for Louisiana.
And talk about turnarounds for Louisiana here. The last 2 quarters, if you include this one here, we're looking at almost 70 yards of rushing, which is definitely, I would say almost 100 yards of rushing. If you include the big run that we just saw from Squarebush earlier, definitely changing things. So once you get that run game going, Louisiana almost feels unstoppable sometimes. So great work now getting themselves up 4 scores.
Yeah, 4 scores with under 4 minutes to go here in this football game. In this third quarter, excuse me. As Otis Boudreaux gets this one up and good, and the score is Louisiana 28-0 here in this one. The SFL Weekly Fantasy Contest is officially up and running. Think you can draft the best team every week while staying under the salary cap? Or maybe you just want to enhance your SFL experience? Free to play, no season long commitment, and a new contest opens every week on Tuesday night. Join now and show off your fantasy skills to the rest of the league. Contact Jack Wall, Stephen Hacker, or Hunter Norwood to join today. As a nice spin move is made by Kyle Fenimore. On his feet still, breaking tackles all the way out to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, and as much as Atlanta's had a tough time offensively, at least Fenimore has been giving them opportunities to be in good field position. And this is a great example. They're basically at the goal line to start things off. Good blocking from the special teams unit to at least give himself a little bit of space, cuts himself to the left to make sure that he can get a little bit more breathing room, and sheds off a few tackles to get Atlanta starting at the 44-yard line. Good field position, and hopefully a turn of things to come here for Bryant Dynasty.
Offset I formation for Dynasty behind him. They will throw. He looks for a receiver over the middle, but that's going to get tipped away and incomplete. Blake B. Craze with a pass deflection.
Yeah, and with Atlanta probably going on all pass mode here, you have to think the linebackers are going to set back a little bit more and, defend those middle passes. And Craze did a good job to at least gets his hands on the football. I don't think at Louisiana's linebackers, their goal is to grab interceptions. They really rely on the secondary to do that, but they're gonna make it a tough time passing now.
As this run is handed off to BDG Hollywood, but nothing doing on that play. Blake B. Craze, second play in a row of not allowing any yardage for Atlanta's offense.
Yeah, and they're just going to continue to stifle Atlanta's offense, whichever way it may come. Especially when it comes to on the ground with BDG only getting 2 yards of total rushing in this third quarter.
Definite passing situation here on 3rd and 10. Dynasty back to throw, deep over the middle. Completion made down to the 31-yard line. Bu Chisholm with a beautiful completion there over the middle.
Yeah, and as much as that middle down the field has not been working out, it's a gutsy throw from Bryant Dynasty. And you could see how wide open Chisholm was. Just completely blows by even Arthur. And Arthur was trying to just catch up from behind, essentially, on that change direction route. And it's resulted in Chisholm getting wide open. And that's the big break that Atlanta needed here. Maybe they could get a score out of this.
And a handoff made to BDG Hollywood. And made to about the 28-yard line for a gain of 2 on the play. Is BDG Hollywood bring up a 2nd and 8 here?
Yeah, and Atlanta really needs to start getting those big BDG runs if they're going to go rely on him. But I think the second down is passing situation, which it is.
It is, and Bryant Dynasty will throw over the middle. What a completion down to the 8-yard line. And who else but Bu Chisholm? And I think he jumped up to snag that one out of the air, and a beautiful completion inside the 10.
Yeah, and then with that catch, it's going to set himself on that 1,000-yard campaign, his 7th of his career. He's just keeps on climbing up the books there. Now at the century mark with yardage, just a fantastic job getting him involved throughout this game.
At the 8, hands the ball off. Nice jump over the line by BDG Hollywood, getting a good 5 yards on the play to bring the ball down inside the 5 to about the 3.
Yeah, now in a goal line situation for Atlanta, they really like using BDG on a lot of those inside-outside runs, make the defense guess. So don't be surprised on the second down that they go with run again, maybe stretch to the outside.
2 wide receivers up to the top of the screen, however, and Bryant Dynasty will be back to throw.
Wow.
Court over the middle, Siege Falco, Kaka into the end zone for 6. They finally find a score here in the third quarter.
Look, nobody can caca better than Andy Hamilton when it comes to calling these plays, but a very admirable work by Mr. Nate the Great Hall in going with that caca. I heard the voice crack with that as well. But finally, Atlanta getting themselves on the board. It just felt like every time they had the momentum, they would just throw that ball away. And this time, secured the rock and made sure that every play was the right one. And it led to that touchdown. Great work.
As Sammy Steele will come on to attempt the extra point, no one can do it better than Andy Hamilton. I'll just throw it out there right now. As that point after is good, I'll bring the score, cutting it to within 3 here, late here stages of the third quarter. 28-7 is the score line.
And I think Louisiana can kind of breathe a little bit because it's not 28-3, and we've seen that scoreline all too often in other leagues. It's good to not see it here.
Right, absolutely. As this kick is away, return from about the yard deep into the end zone. Louisiana will bring it out. Rego De Niro with the return up to about the 26-yard line. That's where we'll see Tommy Utah and company start this next drive. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 2018s, all the places you can watch live games plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. SFL league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. SimulationFL.net, your home for everything SFL. I saw a question in our chat a little bit earlier from DJ DeMyth asking about if Atlanta and Louisiana are the only rivals of each other, if they have other rivals in the same division. The SimulationFL.net is the website you can go to answer those questions as well, as that lists all the teams in every division there on that website as well, and you can find all info on everything here in the SFL on that website. As this handoff is made to Randy Squarebush on 2nd and 12 after a loss on the previous play, and gets about 4 on that play, bringing to 3rd and 8 here.
You know, Atlanta's defense did a great job on the first play to kind of just stifle things for Louisiana to start off their drive. They went with run again on 2nd and 12, like you said, and they got themselves back to neutral ground a little bit ahead. Now you have to think this will be passed for 3rd down.
They will pass on 3rd down, but they will be short of the 1st down marker. 5-yard play, pass completion out to Rego De Niro on that sidelines, but not enough for the 1st down, and a quick 3 and out for Louisiana.
And there's the first stop for Atlanta, hopefully to climb this ladder and cut this deficit a little bit more here. They still got the entire 4th quarter to get back in this game. Anything is still possible in the SFL, so I wouldn't count Atlanta out here in this 3rd quarter, but they definitely need, after this punt, to get themselves in good field position and score on this drive, I think.
Melanishin will get this punt away. It's been a while since we've seen him on the field, but he does get the punt away with no pressure. Returned by Kyle Fenimore out to about the 28-yard line. That'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter here in this one. As we'll switch sides and get ready for the 4th quarter here. Put your 4s up, 12s up, 86s, 68s. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music here live from Saco Stadium, Louisiana. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Nate Hall alongside Brett Killian on the call for this one. Ron Haynes and Justin Reside on a stats team. Thank you, gentlemen, for the work you've done here on this one this evening. As BDJ Hollywood gets the handoff, and it's a loss of a yard on the play as Nathan Blake gets the TFL.
Yeah, interesting they went with a run on 1st down, knowing that they're down 3 scores. And in this ensuing drive, you really want to make things quick and get 6 out of this, because you don't know if you're going to have a chance to get 3 drives out of your offense. So you want to score as quickly as you can on this one.
2nd and 11 from the 27-yard line for Atlanta. Back to throw. Bryant Dynasty gets it out to BDG. Gets only a yard on the play, though. Nice open field tackle made out there by Nathan Blake. Once again, 2 plays in a row with nice tackles made by him.
Yeah, 2 straight plays to BDG Hollywood, and that's resulted in 0 yards. So let's think back to how they were successful on their last drive. They found Chisholm open on a lot of opportunities. See if you can go Chisholm's way.
Back to throw. Bryant Dynasty deep on the right-hand side. That's going to get picked off. Picked off by number 28, Roland Hood. And that'll sniff out the Atlanta drive.
I'll give it number 6 for Bryant Dynasty. That's going to set him up with 31 interceptions this season, which is a number that he didn't want to get to, and he's already tied his all-time high in interceptions here on this 10th game of the season. Unfortunately for him, but you got to give credit to this Louisiana defense, knowing where Dynasty's going to throw this ball, resulting in the 6 picks.
I think that they'll try to salt this one away as much as possible as the handoff is made to Randy Squarebush, and they'll get a good 9-yard chunk on first down to bring up 2nd and 1. A reminder that APM Music is unrivaled music, bringing your stories alive, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. As a 2nd and 1 play is back to throw for Utah, and that's going to get picked off back to Atlanta as Moose Papineau comes up with his 2nd pick of the ball game.
Yeah, very interesting. Louisiana going for the jugular, essentially. And Moose Papineau had the interception earlier before, and he got it again, this time perfectly covering Chase Earl on the deep post, again, down the middle. And this time it pays off for Atlanta's benefit. But this time, now with 9:20 left to go in this game, you have to think to yourself, the middle might not be working. The sideline might not be working. You might have to just inch your way forward, but make sure, maybe go hurry up through this.
See what they do here on first down. Offset eye behind Brian Dynasty. They do hand the ball off to BDG Hollywood. They get about 3 yards on the play to bring up a 2nd and 7. They are not hurrying up. However, they do have a little over 9 minutes left.
Yeah, there's still some time there, but I'd be thinking to myself, if you're down 3 scores, you have to make sure that you get 3 opportunities to score the football at least. So I have to think this next play at least will be at least a swing pass or a short pass.
Back to throw. It is a swing pass out to BDG Hollywood, but that's going to be a gain of another 3 yards as Mike Ryan comes up with a nice tackle on the play to set up a 3rd and 4 coming up.
Yeah, and Louisiana all week has probably looked at BDG and how we got those 18 receptions last week. Saw a bunch of swing passes against Mexico City, and it was working out for him. So they're really trying to limit BDG's productivity on the swing passing. So far, it's really worked. He's only had 38 yards on the 8 receptions.
This handoff is made to BDG Hollywood. That was not the play to get that first down. Brian Craven comes up with a big TFL. Nice tackle for a 2-yard loss, bringing up a 4th down coming up.
Very interesting that they just go conservative on this 3rd down and 4, going with a run, and it seemed like Louisiana was ready for it as Brian Craven breaks the offensive line and gets to Hollywood so quickly.
High snap for Lopan, the punter, but he growls it, and the return is made by Rego De Niro up to the 43-yard line. And that is where the next drive will begin. Next weekend, Next Level Sports' coverage of the Simulation Football League visits Minnesota Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where the Legend, coming off their shocking win over Baltimore. Did you see that yesterday?
I did, yeah.
Will welcome the DC Dragons, 2 teams battling for division titles. Sunday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern, Florida tries to keep its slim lead in the East Division at rival Denver, plus 5 look-ins on the unbeaten London Knights and the high-flying San Diego Mavericks in desperation mode. For a channel guide and more info about NXT, visit NLSC.com, as that deep pass over the middle was off the hands of Henry and incomplete.
Yeah, it was a nice job to bat the ball up from Chris Henry, but Jack Napier, you got to get yourself ready on those tip drills. That could have been another key interception to give Atlanta some life here, but here we are, 2nd down here for Louisiana.
And who knows, Florida might not have the lead anymore in the East Division, depending on what happens later on tonight in Arizona. We'll have to keep an eye on that, as this handoff is made to Randy Squarebush on 2nd down, and only 3-yard gain on the play, bringing up a 3rd and 7.
All right, Louisiana, now it's time to calm down a little bit. You're up 3 scores. You don't have to throw a 15-yard air pass. Just get enough for that first down. There's some 9-yard out routes in your arsenal here, and Chase Earl's done a good job with those, so maybe look his way.
Back to throw. Tommy Utah on third down over the middle. And that's going to get completed inside 35-yard line down to the 32. First down, Chase Earl.
Or just ignore me completely and go with the deep middle. And this time, Chase Earl's going to get himself open. Why? I'll eat my words again. I'm not an offensive coordinator. That's why Andy Hamilton's never said, my name as our offensive coordinator for the Legion. I just sit back and catch these footballs. I don't dictate the offense.
That's why we're up here and analyzing well, that's why I'm up here. I don't coach either. I don't coach either. I keep that to the higher ups, as John Michael Sudduth is completed for 3 yards.
Yeah, and Louisiana's goal at this point, just maintain the football, get as much clock down as possible, make Atlanta's task of getting back in this game impossible.
2nd and 7 for Atlanta.